Well, today we're going to be looking at Ace of Cups cards. This is one of my favorite suits is the cups here. The Ace of Cups represents a lot of different things. It represents emotion, new beginnings, spiritual awakenings. It represents giving birth to new experiences or conditions in your life. And cups are connected with the divine. If we look at the traditional Smith weight, we see a remarkable card. We have a hand reaching out from clouds, holding a chalice upright, and at the very top we have a dove. And the dove is depositing a wafer, a communion wafer, into the chalice. And the dove represents the universe, or it could be God, or however you interpret the spiritual, divine. And so the dove is depositing the wafer into the cup. So this represents energy and love going from the divine into the physical. The physical is represented by the cup. Now, cups are a water suit, emotional suit, and also water suit. So it's, traditionally, there's water involved on a lot of the Ace of Cup cards. We here see 5 streams of water overflowing, an abundance of water going into the pond. And if we look here, we have these little yods. There are 25 of them on the Smith weight, and they represent divine energy and love and insight. And they are also overflowing from the Ace of Cups and going into the lily-filled pond here below us. And notice how Smith even included a little mountain range in the background here. Those little details are great. Now, a lot of cards were copied after Smith weight for their Ace of Cups. A lot of them have birds, and most of them are doves, and a lot of them are overflowing with water. But Smith weight was not the first tarot card with the hand holding the cup. That was actually Italia, and Italia was about 120 years preceding Smith weight. So I believe that Pamela Coleman Smith got the idea of the hand from a look at the Italia deck, which would have been around during her time. But I'm going to begin. I'm going to be showing you a number of Ace of Cups cards, and I think they're all quite delightful and well done. I'm going to start with Visconti, a Visconti Forza deck. We show a cup here on a pedestal here at the bottom, or a base, I should say. And the cup is more of a fountain here. We have 2 streams of water coming out and going back into the cup. And at the top, we have a bird. I believe it's an eagle. We have an eagle then at the top, and a very nice pips card. A lot of pips were not very well illustrated, but the Ace of Cups seems to be the exception. It seems to be the one pip card which almost on every deck has lavish illustrations. On a sword card, you might just see a sword, a single sword perhaps. But on the Cups cards, there's usually far more illustrations. But next, I'm going just a few years later from the 1400s on the Visconti. This is also done in the 1400s or 15th century. This is a Grigonor tarot, and we see a similar cup, and it has a base here. We have 2 swans, and we have a cherub with wings at the top here. And it's a relatively simple cup, I would say. But this deck was done probably about 20 years after Visconti. But these are actual photographs of the actual surviving cards from the Grigonor tarot. So you can see how tattered they are. But most of the cards survived, and the ones that weren't, of the 78 cards, were recreated to complete the deck. Next, I'm going also in the 1400s here. This is a fully illustrated pip deck, the first one ever made. This is, of course, the Sola Busca. And here we have a very intricate cup here. 3 cherubs at the top. 2 are playing instruments, and 1 is dumping from a jar or some kind of a vessel, some type of liquid. Almost looks like his, what do you call it, the pea pot or whatever of the olden days. But I don't know how anyone could possibly drink out of that cup, but it's very elaborate. And it's on an elaborate base too. So a lot going on, this Solabusca Ace of Cups. Very beautiful card. The whole deck is beautiful, but I'll show you that sometime. Okay, next we have, these are newer Ace of Cups I'll be showing you from the 17 and 1800s. But they're so elaborate as standalone cups and so beautiful that I wanted to include them. This is the Severo, made by a guy named Severo, and beautiful colors here, very beautiful Ace of Cups. I like the use of red and blues and golds in this cup. And here's another one from the Minchiati. Notice we have a crown at the top of the cup card. There are a couple of later decks that also incorporated a crown onto their Ace of Cups. But very prominent, dynamic Ace of Cups here. Okay, this is the, what is this one? Metelli. This is the Metelli Ace of Cups. We have a small base. We have 2 figures seemingly holding up the cup, balancing it perhaps. And we have a couple of odd figures at the top embracing and kissing. But that's Metelli. Okay, next we have Vachetta. Vachetta did this. A guy named Vachetta did it. And we have a beautiful dynamic Ace of Cups here. We have a monkey. We have, looks like a young boy here holding, I believe it's a piece of fruit. And I like the ribbons on this cups, and I like the artwork at the top of the cup. Very beautiful. Okay, next I'm moving on to Lombardy Tarot. I have a Lombardy Tarot deck, Ancient Lombardy it's called. And all the cups have these things hanging off the side. But the Ace of Cups is very beautiful on this deck. Okay, next we have the Vandenbora Tarot. Another relatively simple but beautiful Ace of Cups. Okay, this card is the, I cheat by looking at the back of the cards. This is the 1JJ Swiss Tarot. And of course, it's a much later card than the first ones we saw. But it's now another nice elaborate Ace of Cups. I have a little cross here in the center. Beautiful reds and blues and golds on that card. Okay, this is a relatively newer deck, put out by, I think it's Los Scarabeo. And this is the Game of Fortune cards deck, which is not a tarot deck, but it's a fortune cards deck. But I included it because it's very similar to the earlier Ace of Cups cards. I love the orange, very dynamic on this Ace of Cups. Okay, this little card here is for a tarot game, and it's not a regular tarot deck. It doesn't contain 78 cards, but this is the Piedmontese tarot. And this deck is elaborate enough that it's also featured on the box, on the front of the box. And notice we have flowers and vegetation growing out of the top of the cup. You don't see many of that occurring on the Ace of Cups, but I do have one. I found another one with flowers and fruit. I believe that's fruit, actually, fruit on this. And this is a newer deck created in the 21st century. And this is the Old English Tarot. And so they went back into time and they drew a lot of older cards, fashioned after older cards. A lot of their artwork is quite remarkable for a newer deck. Now, if we go into Marseille, we see buildings or towers or something coming out of the top of the card. And Marseille was the first to do this. And Marseille was, a few decades, if not 100 years after Visconti. But we see this being copied also. The Marseille Ace of Cups was copied by a number of artists. This is the Worth Tarot, Universal Worth. That's what it is, Universal Worth. And you notice we have a butterfly instead of a dove. We have a butterfly at the top of the card. And here we see buildings. Looks like part of a castle coming. Oh, we have another butterfly here on the cup itself. But very interesting. If we go into the 21st century here, we have the Della Luna Tarot by Patrick Valenza, one of my favorite contemporary artists. And notice he has copied Marseille a lot, and whoever else influenced him on this. But very, very decent artwork here. Look at the fountain here. We have water coming out of these faces here, and it's going into, I believe it's another pond here. So a lot of different elements in that, and quite interesting. Okay, and my final card is on the buildings coming out of the cups card, I should say. And this is Tarot Decoratif. Okay, so this is a newer deck also. And notice we also have the buildings. They look probably Middle Eastern, I would think, here on these buildings here. Okay, here's Smith Waite again, and I think I've covered about everything on this card. We got divine energy, insight, love from the spiritual into the physical via the wafer, then overflowing with emotion and love and new beginnings and new relationships. It means so many different things, but it's a very positive card. And one of my favorites, my favorite minor card in the tarot would be the Ace of Cups. And Smith and Waite really nailed it. Okay, now we can see that this is the Italia card I was mentioning. And here we see an arm coming out, grasping a cup here. And we see a simple chalice. But that's what Italia did. I'm pretty sure Pamela Coleman Smith got her idea for the hands from the Italia deck. I'm pretty sure that's what she got her idea from. Oh, no, I'll take it. Well, no. Marseille did that with his swords card. We got the hand with the sword, and also did it with the wand, so I stand corrected. This card here is Romantic Tarot. This is the Romantic Tarot. We see a continuation of the dove and the cup overflowing with love and emotion and abundance. And so that's another kind of almost copycat of Smith Waite, which is what we're going to be showing now. This is the Taramuka. And here we have another dove, and we have the cup overflowing. We also have could be an upside down M, I think it is. Okay. But it says W there, but I believe it's an upside down M, which Waite put on his cup here. Anyways, we have 5 streams coming out, and we have most of the same elements of the Smith Waite here happening. Taramuka. And I think it's the same artist, I believe. This is the golden, what is it? The golden Art Nouveau. Golden Art Nouveau tarot, We have our dove. We see the reappearance of the communion wafer here. So we have lotus flowers here amongst the lilies here, and beautiful gold embossed card here on the golden Art Nouveau. Very nice. I'm going to destroy my setup here. Okay, this one is Heaven and Earth Tarot, and we have a beautiful chalice being held by a hand coming out of a cloud. And here we have another dove and the communion wafer again. I love the use of gold on this card, and the white in the center complements the dove. And I see a lotus flower here in the corner, and more water lilies at the bottom. Hey, this is the vice versa tarot. We have female statue here on the it's more of a fountain than a cup, but it is a cup card. And we have another dove, and we have a fountain made out of, looks like some type of serpent. And we see a lot of lotus flowers here at the bottom. And very, very nice card. On the back, though, it's vice versa. So all you see is just at nighttime, and that's the back of the statue. Okay, this is another dove card. This is the Steampunk Tarot. And there's the back of that card. It's a very, very cool deck. I got it. We have a gold dove here, and we have another fountain type of chalice here, going directly into the pond, the water lilies, and the lotus right there. Very nice. Hey, next we have, this is Tarot of the Angels. Tarot of the Angels. And we have a white dove here, and we have another fountain going on. We have a rather geometric chalice here, and a lot of water lilies in the pond there. This is one of my favorite Ace of Cups cards. This is True Black Tarot, and the texture on these cards is great, and the artwork is phenomenal. I like the black background, and then it really brings out the white of the dove. And we have a glass cup overflowing, as is typical, and we have some type of orange vegetation growing out of the bottom there. And something is going on at the top of this card, and I have to look at the guidebook, but I don't know if that represents another wafer, but a very beautiful card, just gorgeous, and very well done. Okay, moving on. This is the Illuminati Tarot, and here I have a dove here, and we have another 5 streams, lotus flowers here at the bottom, and it's just a beautiful card. This is Tarot of the White Cats. It's an interesting deck. Here we have Revenge of the Cat getting at that dove, trying to swipe it. And I think the dove's going to make a clean break, though. But interesting card. So that's Tarot of the White Cats. This is the Medieval Scapini Tarot. We have a dove at the top, it looks like part of a statue. And we have a figure here below that. And we have little streams coming out. So Medieval Scapini. And this card, I'm going to need your help on this card. Here's the back. I can't remember which card this is. And I'm not going to stop and go through all my decks right now to try to determine which one it is. So if you know, please leave a comment. because I'm just at a loss here to remember this card here. And this one I know. This is Influence of the Angels. Okay, it's a relatively newer deck. And here we have a couple of cherubs, and they're holding a heart, which is very cool because the heart represents emotion, love, relationships. And notice that they're depositing the heart into the chalice. Now, what's interesting also about hearts is that tarot evolved from playing cards. And the heart playing card, the suit of hearts, became the cups in tarot. So there's a tie-in right there. But we'll see other decks have incorporated the heart into the chalice also. And here's one quite pronounced example. This is Tinker's Dam Tarot, which I recently acquired. And we have a dove, and the cup is represented by a heart, and the heart is also streaming into the pond. Very unusual deck. It borders on the bizarre. Also has a little bit of steampunk elements in it, and I will be reviewing this in the future. Okay, getting back to blood again, we have, this is Tarot of the Vampires. It's a relatively new deck as of this filming date. And we have a chalice full of blood, which is coming out of the top of the cup. So a little different there. And finally, I have another, this is, what is it? Necromonicon tarot. We have a beautiful red rose here, but then we have an element of blood coming out of the side. But it's a somewhat unsettling deck, though. Here's a rather rare, you can find it on Amazon, but it's Tarot of the Cats. That's all it's called. It was made by a lady named Anna Wan. Anna Wan made this deck, and she utilizes a lot of almost black and white imagery, but then she'll institute colors, like in one part of the card. But I just thought I'd include that. This is a relatively newer deck also. It's La Corte Tarot. We have a hand extending a cup, and we have a lot of activity here going on at the top. And I'm not sure exactly what this card top activity represents, but it's an interesting newer deck. Here's the back of it, La Corte, and very narrow cards, extremely narrow. Hey, this is the Haunted House Tarot, which I just did a review on for Halloween. But here we have a cup, but it's really more a ghostly cup, I would say. We have a full moon, however, on that card. This is Golden Tarot of the Renaissance. The majors are very similar to Gregoner Tarot, which was the second card I showed. And here, first I thought this was an Ace of Wands. It has to be an Ace of Wands, but the cup is at the very top. And a lot of people probably mistake it for an Ace of Wands if it comes up in the reading, but it's actually the Ace of Cups. Interesting. Okay, and this card is, let me think here for a second. This card is Epic Tarot. Okay, Epic Tarot. And interesting deck. Los Scarabeo did this deck. And interesting. Hey, this is the Golden Dawn Tarot. It's just called Golden Dawn Tarot, or Tarot of the Golden Dawn. We have a hand coming out of the water this time, and we have two streams coming out, and we have lilies and lotus floating on the surface. Okay. This one is the Mystic Fairy Mystic Fairy Tarot, and we have a chalice in the middle here, and it's on top of a lotus, and these are the lilies. So Mystic Fairy. Okay, this one is the Pagan Tarot. The Pagan Tarot, we have a couple of dolphins, which is very cool. Have a gold chalice here, seated on a table. And it's interesting. It's a little different than a lot of the Ace of Cups cards. This is the Tattoo Tarot. Would you have guessed? It's Tattoo Tarot. Very simple. It's a couple of doves here at the bottom and water coming out of the top. And these things here are probably yods, I would think, represent yods. But that's the Tattoo Tarot. This is the Hermetic Tarot of the Golden Dawn. It's a black and white deck. I'm not real fond of black and white decks, but I thought I would just put this in there anyways. And it's a relatively new deck. But, well, maybe not so much. I don't remember exactly what year, but it's within the last couple of decades, I believe. A hand holding the cup, the streams coming out, and that's it. It's okay for a black and white card, I guess. This one is the, I gotta try to pronounce this, Zvor Divine, okay? It's an unusual deck, quite whimsical. I did get the deck on Amazon. It's not one of my favorites, but it's very interesting. And it's got a very beautiful Ace of Cups here. So interesting. This is a very, very simple Ace of Cups. This is from the Pulp Tarot, P-U-L-P, Tarot, by Todd Elcott. Very, very simple Ace of Cups. And this one, most of you probably recognize. This is Deviant Moon by Patrick Valenza. And very interesting and beautiful Ace of Cups. And notice she is winged. Hey, this one, we're getting towards the end here, folks. This one is an unnamed deck I got off Esty. And we have Joe Biden here as the Ace of Cups. And I just call this a political tarot. And I don't think the guy even had a name for it. But it's an interesting deck, and I do want to do a review on it. Interesting deck. Hey, this is simply known as the Medieval Tarot. And we have a cup. Notice I mentioned the crown before, earlier in this video. Well, here's another evidence of a crown here on the chalice. So this is the Ace of Cups. And here we have a relatively new deck. Very whimsical and colorful. It's what is it called? Mr. Punch Tarot. And I got this deck. I really love it. I want to do a review on it. We also have the crown here at the top of the cup. And this is the old Punch and Judy theme here. We have the alligator, which was also evident in many of those puppet shows. Very interesting, a story behind Mr. Punch and Judy, and very interesting deck. And finally, wrapping it up, I have Thoth, and I thought I'd save this for last. We have, some might say, the Holy Grail here of Cups. And we have a lot of energy happening on this card. We have a stream coming into it, and we have the abundance and the overflowing of that energy here is coming out of the top of the cup. And here we have, I believe it's a reflection of this energy on the top is showing on the bottom here. And I thought it was pretty cool. I don't know a lot about Thoth. I just acquired a deck recently. I did get the larger size. I'm not going to trim it, but it's a very beautiful deck, and it's rather unconventional compared to a lot of other systems. But Thoth has its own system, and very cool. And of course, that was around the time after the Golden Dawn. But that's the presentation I have for you. I think that was around 50 cards. And I appreciate you watching. And let me know what you think. What's your favorite Ace of Cups card? I'm just curious. I have a couple in there. I can't say I have one favorite Ace of Cups, but I do like that True Black, and I like a number of other cards also, though. So let me know in the comments what you think. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.